Hello and welcome back to Twilio Signal 2026. My name is Paul Nash. I come to you live from San Francisco. I'm here with Kathryn Murphy. Kathryn, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great to have you here. So you're Senior Vice President of Product and Communications Platform at Twilio.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So I'm basically in charge of the channels that all of our customers know and love: voice, video, email, messaging, all of those things.
Well, I'll tell you that the keynotes were super exciting.
Yes.
From codes to the demos to all the conversation that was going on. Why don't we talk a little bit, start there. What were your thoughts on some of the announcements that came out?
Actually, maybe a bit of an origin story.
Yeah.
Why did we decide to build these things? You know, a couple of years ago, we spent a lot of time with our customers, and everyone from executives who buy our products to the developers who are using them. And there's some really clear asks from our customers. You know, one, they were like, hey, Twilio, make all these channels that you provide just work together. Make them work together better.
Yeah.
And that's really what pushed us to build the orchestration capabilities, conversations. And I think the thing that was happening at the same time with that is the consumer shift. Mm-hmm. So consumers were starting to interact with brands. You know, if brands sends a marketing email, they respond. Even when one-time passwords were going out. And we see this in the data on the Twilio platform, is customers are answering.
Right.
So there's this kind of forget what we think. Meanwhile, the consumers are shifting to this conversational kind of nature. And then the second thing customers said to us a couple years ago was, why can't your channels just remember things?
Yeah.
Why is there this kind of cold start with my customer every time? And so really, what's so exciting about all of our announcements today, and then we'll come to the agentic thing in a second, but even so the foundational announcements is it's born out of exactly what our customers asked for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I've been covering Twilio for some time now, and last year to this year, major transformation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, going from siloed product offerings, individual companies under a holding company, to a one platform view.
Totally.
And your orchestration, memory, and communications across each one and carrying the discussion. Now, I will say the one thing I found very interesting is, not too long ago, you could do all these things.
Totally.
It would be very expensive to have that omni-channel experience.
Yeah.
Right? And time, effort, expense, everything. Now, super easy.
Yeah.
That's one thing I thought was interesting.
That really is. I'm so glad that you picked up on that, because I'm not sure if that point actually landed so well.
Landed,
okay, good.
yeah.
Because it's you could do all this with Twilio before, but you had to stitch it together yourself. We did that for you. Now, agentic just kind of accelerated the need for all that.
Right.
But it's really why don't we just make it easy? And that kind of goes back to our customer's original cry, hey, can't you just make all this stuff work together? Can't you just do it for us?
Yeah, well, I think the big pivot here is agentic AI is allowing the lines of businesses to develop the applications, the agents, the code that they want to do to meet their job functions.
Yep.
Historically, you had to have a professional developer stitch it together.
Yep.
And that's where I think it's a big shift right now.
Yeah, and the other agentic kind of shift happening too is, as everyone's trying, the whole B2B industry is in an experimental mode. Mm-hmm. And if it's not easy, if you can't just try it quickly, over a couple of weeks, you can't prototype it out, how are we going to figure this out? And so I think agentic, which unlocks all this super cool ability to have conversation and to for brands to respond to their customers in a way they never have. Also, this is there's never been a time like now where we need to experiment like crazy, and that demands speed.
It does. And I think from my perspective, for what I see in the research is 2025 was the year of innovation, experimentation.
Yeah.
26 the year of implementation.
Oh yeah, actually, that's really well said. Yeah, I agree.
think that's kind of how it comes together, right? And when I think of what you announced, right? Your investments in the communication channels, the super network that you're building. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So super network is a little bit of an old concept at Twilio that we're bringing back here. I think telco and channels is complicated. Mm-hmm. it's also undifferentiated. It's not like, when I think of our customers, like becoming an expert on telco is not what makes them great with their customers. And so like what makes them great with their customers is having lots of ability to communicate with them, give them rich content experiences. Like it's that kind of stuff, not wiring up SIP trunking or, like doing some of these things. And so, I think we're kind of bringing back this concept again of super network because as the world has become clearly multi-channel, clearly conversational, having a larger network that we just take care of that complexity, the complexity of like not just hooking it up, but managing compliance, managing all the regulatory things, like that's what we do best and we do for our customers.
So, okay, let's double click down on that because I think there is definitely an area, I don't want to gloss over it because this is an area of investment that I'm seeing here at Twilio, right? So from an investment, how are you helping customers really reach the communication across these channels? I know you're making it connected in this one platform, but what does it mean?
Yeah, so today we announced the one experience and it's like there's kind of like two big, there's maybe three things. First of all, yes, it's like one, it's one console, but more importantly, it's one bill, one commit. So rewinding back to like, hey, customer saying, hey, Twilio, make this easier for me. Part of the friction that executives who are the buyers would express is like, well, I buy messaging and then I decide, well, I want to add email, and that's a whole new buying cycle. Right. So like really making it easy to just have one commit and say, I'm going to try any of the channels and try to reach my customer. But the second part for the developer is this one SDK. So we rebuilt one of our big channels, email. It's like an acquisition that we did many years ago of SendGrid, but it was never sort of a first-class channel. It now is a first-class channel.
Gotcha.
And under the same SDK, same bill, same console.
Well, the audience went crazy during the keynote when that was announced. So that was
I mean, it's just something simple like that, but yet, like, again, if you say like everything else is true, it's all multi-channel, it all needs to be connected, like removing some of those paper cuts, like a separate API for SendGrid, a separate API, a separate bill for that. Really, really matters.
I also do want to be clear, though, what my understanding is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is, the role of open source is important. The role of ecosystem is important. What you're providing is a unified view, but allowing for developers to continue to use their bespoke environment. So if they want to use an IDE that they're using, they can still use it. And they can feed that information from Twilio into their IDE. And they can feed the information from the platform anywhere they want to use it, but they can also use their bespoke environments.
Oh, that's totally true. And like, let's go further, because our developers, like many other developers, our Twilio developers, everybody's using a coding agent. So whether it's Claude Code or GitHub Copilot or something, like it's no longer just like my IDE, I have coding agents working with me. How do we make sure that it's easy for those agents to work with Twilio too? It's like that we're not just talking about humans anymore, like it's a combo, right?
Well, that goes to the next part of the conversation. Let's talk about trust, right? How does trust play into these communications, whether it's human, non-human, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, that's another like area of always investment, and I think like increased focus from us because we are worried about that. So agentic, there's a dynamics of the trust. We have two levels of trust. There's the businesses that run on Twilio trusting Twilio.
Right.
And then there's the tools that we give our customers so that they can maintain trust with their customers. And so both are kind of like important but separate. When it comes to customers trusting Twilio, we continue to like expand our reach across the super network and countries and channels, and but also invest in reliability and scalability and fraud protection and all those types of things. For our customers, having trust with their customers, it's enhancements like branded calling, making sure that they're not scared of that phone call. It's RCS and WhatsApp, which have those kind of verified branded experiences. And then it's, also products like our Verify product, making sure that we have ways that customers can confirm, that they really are who they say they are. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, I like that. It ties it all together, but it also feels like there's reassurance.
Yeah.
I think AI in general is going to be a no-like-trust kind of environment.
Totally.
You have to kind of get more comfortable with it, and the more we use it, the more we get comfortable with it. All right, let's talk about voice, because voice is a big part of it too. So it's having a renaissance moment in the voice AI capabilities, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing that it'll continue to have communications across the age of AI.
Yeah.
What's your thought? I mean, voice is not dead.
Oh, no.
It's
very far from it.
Right.
Last year at Signal this time, we announced Conversation Relay, and we've sort of now graduated that to be, and we had some conversation intelligence with it, but we've graduated that to be kind of across channels now. But voice is, in the wave of agentic, like adding the capabilities on top, like the ability to do turn detection, transcription, et cetera, really important. But also core stack is really important. The connectivity, HD audio, these kinds of things become critical to being able to support kind of a new era of voice that's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I encourage the audience to watch the demos, because the demos really showed that. It was really cool to see it.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of things that happened during the demo that were unexpected.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting, but it just rolled right through.
Which is also human life.
Exactly.
It's that's how it would happen perhaps with a human, and so it's very cool to kind of see how AI has come along and
Totally.
acts a little more like we do.
Totally. So Kathryn, a year from now, we're
Yeah.
sitting here, 2027, we're at Twilio Signal. What are we talking about? What's happened in the last year?
Yeah. So I think one, we see what we feel already the demand from our customers is many more helper use cases. So we didn't really talk about this yet, but part of what we announced this Signal is a Twilio Agent Connect.
Right.
Because everyone's so into the agentic use cases right now, help us figure it out. And so what do? We actually stitch together kind of an open source toolkit that's already pre-wired all the Twilio channels, the conversation relay, conversation intelligence, ready to go for that use case. Which again, is we're not building the apps, but we're building the toolkits to help customers do what they need to do. They're already saying, great, now what are you going to do next? Help me with my marketing use cases. Help me with my notification use cases. Help me with our next thing. So I think
getting into the lines of business.
We're really going to start trying to help unlock more functions across the business with more helper toolkits.
No, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And then I guess the second thing is I think you're going to start seeing a lot more, we've been focused on ease and speed and generally, but making some of the blocking and tackling things easier, making compliance easier, expanding more over the top channels, and just creating a richer, bigger super network over the next year.
Friction and complexity is always top of mind when we talk to customers, so I think that's a smart way to go.
Yep.
Kathryn, always a pleasure to talk to you. This has been great.
Likewise.
Thank you for being on theCUBE today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Paul Nash, coming to you from Signal 2026, live from San Francisco on theCUBE, your leading source of tech news.